Hi everyone, this is Catherine from We Are Bikers, where Bikers Unite. We're a humanitarian organization for bikers. We are built here to make a difference in the motorcycle and biker world and try to bridge gaps, walk beside every single rider, and most of all make a difference in a humanity way in the biker community. So, you guys have listened to me. A lot of you guys know who I am. Now I travel for a living. I'm next to my co-chair in Georgia right now, Miss Amelia. And we're just, still building what we're building. It's pretty inspiring to see where we're going from. Now, since I talked to you guys last time, I just got back from Arizona, which was a wonderful poker run out there. And amazing riders. Definitely got inspired, and it's just a lot. Number one, it's a lot to travel. But number two, it has to be done to build what we're building. And slowly, we're going to start getting investors involved. We're going to start seeing what we can do. Because the biggest thing is we want to keep it for free. That's the biggest thing when it comes to building this type of overall organization that umbrellas the biker world, motorcycle world. And so we don't want to put things in boxes. We want to walk beside everyone as peaceful and humble as we can. We want to stand up for good, just causes, and we want to remove our own bias. Like, remove the political aspect and look at just a human aspect. Because you can't really always remove politics, sadly. But you can always try your best to sit there and say, okay, that's a political situation. We're going to bring a humanity aspect in. Is it hurting another human being? Is it hurting humans? And then at that point, that's where we stand forward. We're all about choices. We're all about freedoms. I mean, that's the whole reason why the bikers became, they don't want to walk with society's, I guess the herd. They want to do their own thing. And it's a tough dialogue, and we're going to always keep having it. Even little snippets, even little aspects of how and who is a biker. To be honest with you, to me personally, I've seen so many different types of bikers, but they all come down to these core attributes that bring them together and have that heart. I was talking about a couple months ago about what is a biker, and we sat down and we had coffee, and I was like, well, what do you feel like, what is a biker to you? Like, how do you see? And he was like, really, I don't see myself a biker, but I see myself as a person that walks differently against society. And most of all is that I, keep with these main attributes, which is respect, loyalty, of course, lots of love or much love. And, hold on, you guys. There's a whole nother one. There's a good amount. There's just respect, loyalty. And there's not just, people are like, there's rules and stuff. There's not rules. It's just a standard way of living. Honor. That's the biggest one. I can't believe I forgot that one, you guys. I'm so sorry. Respect, love, honor, and much love. And within those are attributes that you do. Like, you never leave a sister or brother behind. You never give up. Don't do no nonsense. Stay true to yourself. You want to be your true self. Stick to your guns is one thing I've heard from a biker. Make sure you're riding. Sometimes though, if you get old, you can't ride any longer. Does that make you less of a biker? I personally do not believe so. I believe that you lived a life, you've done everything that you could do, and you've walked that path, and you've stayed true to yourself. And to me personally, even if you have to put down your ride because of physical attributes, does not make you less of a biker. Especially when it comes to what's the word? The physical aspects of what's going on now is with the helmets. If you wear a helmet, you're not a biker. Like the foo-foo stuff. And with that being stated, it's, how do I describe it? It's just not the biker way. And I think we need to stop that dialogue because it's just going to hurt your own community. And I'll talk about that as well. So we're going to talk about that today. So I have, we started this organization just as a social media to bring bikers together and bridge gaps and not share a whole bunch of porn all over Facebook and scammers, because you know how those scammers like to sneak on in. it was there just to bridge gaps. And as I started doing research and talking to bikers, especially my own admins who have lived the life and retired from it, were in club life, and hearing their stories, and it just impacted me. And then on top of that, my own personal peers, my own village, who was stereotypical of the biker way. It was like, oh, you're going to get hurt, or something's going to happen to you, and and I was like, oh my gosh, like my family is like they love everybody, and I couldn't believe this was coming out of their mouth. And so, and nothing to do with you guys, I love my family. Let's just be honest there. But I just couldn't believe that was coming out because they just didn't know better. It's something that we have to dialogue with, of breaking those stigmas, breaking those stereotypes. And I started doing a lot of research. I started listening a lot. I'm a person that learns hands-on. You can put a piece of paper in front of me and I can read it 5,000 times and still not grasp it. What I grasp is when I'm with you one-on-one. Because I feel you. I understand what you're going through. Like, I can empathize. And I can see it in your eyes that what you're saying is true. I can tell what's going on. And to me, it's more of a connection of going, okay, I can definitely understand this as I'm learning this. I've always learned that way, and it makes life deeper. And so I started researching like the biker codes and how, biker codes came to be. And I realized like a lot of them are saying that you can't write them down. It's a word of mouth. It's just a way of doing things respectfully in this life. And so it's just a fascinating dialogue, and some bikers don't believe it. It's pretty interesting to talk to, I would say, motorcycle enthusiasts that sit there and talk about like they don't exist. Even big organizations that come about, they're like, we don't believe in them, we don't believe that they exist. I mean, it's fascinating of how these organizations are supposed to support your own people, but you're not supporting what they are doing and what they're believing in their heart and why it was developed. And I was like, why? Everyone who knows me personally knows I handle things like, I guess you can say, a psychological understanding. It's why. Understanding. I just want to understand. I don't get it personally. So what can I do to make a difference, to understand it? And so again, lots of research, reading a lot of different articles, checking review articles, trying to see where they get their sources from, what we can do to make things better, as we, understanding why is this happening and why they're not getting the support they need. And with bikers, like, there's all these organizations out there that should be an umbrella organization to bring you guys all together, and they're not. They're actually putting you guys in boxes and hurting your own community, and they're becoming their own community themselves, and then with what they're stating is becoming a way of life, and it's hurting not only people, it's hurting also their biker history, and that's not okay. And so I full-heartedly believe it's not what you say, it's how you say it. How can I come by and sit there and say, hey, I'm going to be walking by you as a growing national organization. Our goal is to be a nonprofit. Our goal is also to be somehow a profit, because, again, we still have to make funds some way, like merchandise. But we want to keep things for free for our bikers. That was the biggest thing that I had when I sat down with old school bikers that lived the life for years, was we just want an organization to walk beside us. Like, if we need help, we don't have to fork out all this money or have to, fork out all this funds to get that assistance. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to feed my coworkers, families, and stuff like that? And they're like, well, what if you do it in different ways? And so that's what we're trying to find out. Like, we're guinea pigging these different ways. We're thinking outside the box. We're not thinking corporate greed. We're sitting there going, okay, how can we do things to where we can still live in a decent lifestyle and still have to could travel from one coast to another for our bikers, but also be able to help for free for our bikers. And it's been a tough dialogue. It's been not an easy thing, because, again, I've never done this before. I've always worked under somebody. I'm a very creative person. I used to run a photography business, but it was different. It was just me. It was not, I was doing for profit. So it's definitely interesting to sit there and well, I still wasn't doing it for profit. I volunteered a lot of my time for stuff. But the fact of the matter is like, how do you find that balance? Does that make sense? How do you find that balance to build an organization? And so that's what we've been working for. And with that research is going to come our podcast today, which is the biker codes. Like, how do we proceed of talking about them, because a lot of the motorcycle enthusiasts, is how I'm going to say, because there's a lot more on the roads today that love motorcycles, but what they don't understand is they're coming in to a lifestyle that was before them, and they're not respecting it. And it's hard to understand why. And a lot of them are so nice. Like, they're not disrespecting in a mean way, but how they're wording things, if they're saying they're not a biker, is not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting your own community that you're riding in. Because the people with those standards comes a lifestyle that's a pretty amazing lifestyle. It's a rough lifestyle, it's a hard lifestyle, but it's definitely an amazing lifestyle. So, when it comes to it, so just, so biker codes, from what I'm gathering, I've developed my own definition of kind of what it is. Some say it's a motorcycle and a person at heart that's born daredevil. They have no rules, and they walk their own pathway, but they always have an honor code to be able to process everything. It's so important to sit there and respect that when it comes to the honor code, and being able to understand that, hey, I'm not walking with society standards, I'm walking with my own standards, and I live differently, and I ride 2 wheels to 3 wheels now. And I, either have a brotherhood or I have a sisterhood, or yes, on top of the honorary codes, the biker codes, I have clubs that have also bylaws and things I have to abide by. Most of them, there's a physical attribute of being leather. I've realized a lot of bikers do not wear leather. A lot of bikers wear other stuff, but a lot of bikers do wear leather. And so there's not, that to me is like, you don't never know, because sometimes you'll find people that do not wear leather and that are so bikers. So again, the physical attributes should not really be involved in the biker way. It should be what's in your heart. Now, leather helps you when it comes to the slide. So, having that leather, it saves your life. And so, that's another thing, leather shouldn't have to break stereotypes, because, it's a safety factor and not making you look like a biker. A lot of bikers will tell you that they're not here to make themselves look like a biker. That's just how they are, and they wear leather for safety, and it's just part of they have, their vest, or if you're part of a club, you have your cut, you wear your patches, there's something that represents you, it's a form of expression, but on top of that, it also tells you who you are. If you're in a certain territory you're not supposed to be in, there's reasons why they're there. And it comes down to years ago, why, number one, a club was developed, or why a biker decided to ride free and not go with society's standards and just kind of live off the land, and travel and ride all over the place. It's fascinating how you talk to bikers and they're like, oh, I can't believe this person rode all these miles. Well, it takes a lot, but that's what you guys do, is ride miles. You guys ride and you go through different states and you find different eating places and you meet up with each other. And that's the biker way. And you have this way of conduct of being better, of saying, hey, I have respect for you if you respect for me, or I still give respect until you don't give me respect, and then at that point, we're going to have a discussion, or I'll just walk away and just ignore it and go off on a different pathway away from you. And maybe by the grapevine, let them know, hey, this person is not a good person, just to forewarn. There's different ways of being when it comes to being a biker. Honor, caring for your brothers and sisters. If you see somebody on the side of the road, be there for them. I was thinking the other day, driving, my cage, I was like, probably the reasons why cages don't stop for other cages, number one, it's society, and number two, it's also because of those murder shows that you watch where people steal you away and put you in their trunk. Motorcycles, you can't just, put people in the trunk. Now, you can probably, put a needle in them and, make, whatever the show, the murder shows are, and pile them on the back of your motorcycle, but that wouldn't happen. And so it's, I don't know. That just came to light. I was like, that's the reason why no one stops for cages on the side of the road. It's a fascinating conversation, and I think it should be had. And so last week, as I was doing research, I came across this organization that's supposed to be like, I think it's like an association. Oh, it's an alliance. It's a motorcycle alliance. And they were like, biker codes are silly codes. They don't exist. It's just being a decent human being. And they like